DeVita tuliakiona tuipuloto mosese vahae valetavea.
DeVita tuliakono tuipuloto mosesi vahae fe hoko valetavea.
You're a wizard, Harry.
All right, the Wiz, we're back in biz. For all you witches and wizards out there, we left you in the dark. We left you without any magic, without any spells last week. So we know you all lost because of that, because we left you hanging. But we're gonna get you a win this week for sure. But the Wizards over here, we did terribly too. So you're not alone out there. I mean, Garrett's sitting over here with like 60% chance to win, and I'm at 20. I'm losing to Amari Pooper, who ironically scored like 27 points. Anyways, so I guess that's also a takeaway. If you just name your team after your worst player, then the next week they'll come back and just shred it. So, what do you have for takeaways for the week, Garrett, for week 3 of this National Football League?
Football is crazy, man.
Football crazy.
Sam Darnold and Andy Dalton.
Dude, you're looking like a genius for that Sam Darnold pickup. Like, he's gonna probably win you a couple games a couple matchups like by himself. You know, that's a great pickup.
Week this week.
Yeah,
I should lose.
He scored like 30, right, in PPR, 30 points, 32. Yeah,
almost 30. Too. So yeah, I mean, and even just I don't know, like all these crazy teams like Bo Nix beating what looked like the Bucks, like dynasty season. You know, like they're gonna win the Super Bowl the way they started, but yeah, I mean. Just crazy things happen in the NFL week to week.
Yep.
Any given Sunday, boy.
Yep. I looked at the scores at like 3 or 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. probably yesterday for the first time, and I was just like, you know what? What the hell? I'm just not even gonna like try to plan anything anymore. Like, I don't know. I thought my team was pretty set going into this week, and just they just all crapped the bed. For real. And yeah, like the Vikings crushed the Texans, so they pulled CJ Stroud in the fourth quarter, and it's like, what are you kidding me? You know? But Derek Carr looking like maybe a mirage, but that's okay. At least I didn't spend 31 fab on him, you know.
Yeah, I knew he would be. I mean, he's gonna fool you. I mean, he's such like he wears that mask for a couple weeks, and then everybody thinks it's like, oh yeah, Derek Carr, you gotta have him, and it's like Sam Darnold gets pushed to the side, and I think season long you'll see the difference.
Derek Carr
fooled me too many times.
He just loves Halloween. He's a year-long Halloween kind of guy, just wearing masks. Yeah, but at least we're not living in an echo chamber like some people, right? You know what I mean? Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to mute myself so my daughter doesn't.
She doesn't wake up?
A bunch of noises. No, she's awake. She just screamed at me.
She can wake up again, and then...
You can't have an echo chamber. Echo chambers are dangerous.
You just wake up again, and then I'll just make a beat out of everything she says.
Well, we got a doubleheader tonight, man. So I guess we didn't leave everybody in the dark. So how do you feel about the Jaguars and Bills 7:30?
And I thought it was a single at first. I thought it was like Jacksonville versus I thought it was Buffalo and Cincinnati. Because I was like, oh man, I just need the Buffalo Bills defense that I have to do well against this dude Burrows. But then I realized, Burrows playing against the Commanders, so he'll probably do well. I think like all the Bengals offensive players are a good piece. Good, those are all good options for sure. I think Burrow's gonna do well. Zach Moss will do well. Maybe like Jamar Chase won't do that well because they'll be up. Jacksonville is kind of a trash, garbage team. I think they're going to do poorly against the Bills defense, who's like quietly looking pretty good. And so I think Buffalo's going to be up, and James Cook is going to go to Bone Town. And so I think it's going to be like lopsided on both sides. Both ball games are going to be lopsided, so the running backs on the winning teams, on the lopsided, like the teams that are up, would be Cincinnati and Buffalo. They're going to crush, and then so on the other sides of the ball, I think like the pass catchers on those other teams, like Brian Thomas Jr. and Terry McLaurin, I think they're going to have good games. Maybe a bounce back game for Terry. And Brian Thomas, I think, is just gonna like keep elevating his rookie status in the league. But that's what I think. I think ETN will have a down game because they'll be down, and Washington, like Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. I think Brian Robinson will do okay pass catching, but no, I don't think Austin Eckler is going to be very good. That's my whole long-winded echo chamber summary about this whole.
You can't have an echo chamber.
Thing.
Echo
what
chambers
about
are
you?
dangerous.
What do you think?
Oh, well, I think you hit the nail on the head on most of those players, in my opinion. I would be hesitant about starting, like Khalil Shakir or Keon Coleman still, but I do like, if you have Dawson Knox, or more like Dalton Kincaid. I don't mind you starting the tight ends.
Both of them?
Yeah, you could start either one of them. The Jaguars give up a lot of passing to tight ends, so I mean, they don't run a lot of 12 personnel, but I think it's something that they'll try to do this game and run the ball mostly, like you said with James Cook. You gotta start Brian Thomas Jr. and I think you have to start ETN, but he's gonna disappoint you this week.
Yeah, if you drafted him, you have to start him, but I don't have really high expectations against Buffalo's defensive line, for sure.
I also think that the Commanders could upset the Bengals tonight. Don't be surprised. So it might be more of a shootout than what people think.
Okay.
So Terry McLaurin, he's going to break out this game, finally, on Monday night.
Yeah, hope so. Hope Scary Terry's listening. And that depends a lot on Jaden Daniels, too, if he can, and like Cliff Kingsbury and their play calling, but depends on Jaden Daniels. If Terry McLaurin's not really much of an after-the-catch yards guy, so he's got to get a lot of downfield shots for him to have value, I think, and they just have to put some more trust in Jaden Daniels and with the play calling and stuff. But I hope to see some more change instead of just like behind line scrimmage, check down stuff, or short yardage, check down stuff. Yeah, dude, you know who Deshaun Watson is backwards.
Washawn Dotson,
which is pretty close to Jahan Dotson. So I think they're inverse of each other or something, man. Yeah, Jahan should
I like it.
Go to the Browns. I think it would be like some kind of like antimatter explosion or something.
Create a black hole.
Some good stuff, yeah. And then just all of Cleveland falls into another universe, which it pretty much already is. Yeah, G-Man knows that firsthand. Yeah, so
who disappointed you this week? Who do you think, you're hesitant about starting in the future? What player really let you down this week?
Well, let's hit a drop here, so our listeners that are asleep wake up and then they're paying attention.
Bears are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Sorry, Brian. I know you were like chilling to a nice nap and you're in the middle of your lunch break at Duke Energy or wherever it is that you work, but I had to wake you up there because you need this info, man. You got to get W's. You're winning the league this year, brother. Would you ask me who was I disappointed in this week? What did you ask me?
Yeah. Who in the league or what guys did you think would do well this week that let you down?
Who let me down? Plexico Burress.
My guy is Plexico Burress. He shot himself again.
What? Is it true? I was just thinking of the league, that scene where like, I traded for Plexico Burress, and he's like, Plexico Burress is out of the league.
Calvin Ridley, man, and Zamir White on my team sucked so bad.
Oh, dude, yeah. I was gonna be super butthurt personally on a personal level if Zamir White did well, because I drafted him and then you picked him up, but like, yeah, he sucked. He's done, man. He's not an NFL player.
Yeah, droppable for sure. If you can't run on the Carolina defense,
right, especially since most leagues are PPR and he has no PPR value. He doesn't catch balls at all. Like, if you're not juggling balls, there's no value to your life. So
yeah, I'm hurting for a squirting of running backs, and I was reaching. I had to pick up what people dropped, and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah, that's how it goes, and every given Sunday. But I'm disappointed in. Well, my entire roster was disappointing, but I mean, a lot of it is like explicable. A lot of it, explainable. You can understand. I'm disappointed in Tony Pollard. Only just about 6 points in PPR. Of course, game script didn't work in his favor. But I'm disappointed in him moving forward, even though Tajay Spears is injured. And it's his backfield, but Will Levis is just destroying that team. You said Calvin Ridley too. Will Levis is taking that team and just trashing it single-handedly, and trashing everybody else.
Down the toilet,
dude,
for sure.
I don't think we can call him Lil Levis anymore because I don't know. That's his baller rapper name, but he's not. We gotta find.
I'd be surprised if he has a starting job next year for sure.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. He's pretty close to. I think he's by the end of the season he'll hit the Bryce Young line. Can you hear those cats? No. The cats are starting to fight. If the mic picks up enough cat, I gotta get him over here and get him on the mic. And then
I keep muting myself because my daughter's squealing and making noises, but I guess we got to worry about the cats.
I haven't heard her at all. We can do some kind of cat. I'll make some kind of cat Ivy hybrid beat.
Yeah, if you can find the audio.
Anybody that listens will be like, what?
Ramondre Stevenson was awful this week as well.
Terrible.
Tyreek Hill, everybody's going to be worried about him now. Going forward without Tua. With what he put up this past week in Seattle.
And you said last week or a couple weeks ago, he's the safe dude, the safe wide receiver. He always puts it up. But I take away his quarterback, I guess.
Yeah.
Take away anybody's quarterback, it's not true.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, and God help you if you drafted Jalen Waddle. He's going to be nothing this season. You might even have to drop him eventually.
Yeah. Tyreek, you're definitely not dropping, but
no,
Jalen.
But he's on drop watch eventually if they keep playing like that. Jalen Waddle.
Right. I mean, you're just hoping that Tua decides to come back at some point, but so you got to keep up on the Tua news if you're the Jaden Waddle owner. But yeah, it's not looking good for sure. I mean, it was just a weird week overall. Like Juwan Jennings, top scorer of the week, 46.5 points. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
who started that guy, man?
That helped no one.
Like it's the highlights in that hair. Like have you looked at his picture on Yahoo.com? Like it looks like a Smurf or something. But yeah, like I don't care as much about winning the whole league. Like I care more about.
Oh, that's perfect. That needs to be the.
You're gonna clip that out.
Picture on YouTube for our
Juwan
podcast
Jennings
today.
Yeah, dude. I got
that hair is amazing. Like bright orange.
Got him the points. And yeah, but I think it's more fun to like find a dude and start him and get 46 points. Like, what if you just lucked into starting Juwan Jennings and got 46? Like, your whole league would be like, are you like seeing the future? But yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, I don't have any investment in the 49ers this year, so like I wouldn't even known about all the injuries. Kittle was out, Debo was out this week, so it's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of had that feeling with the Rams because Kupp and Nakua are out, so I picked up Demarcus Robinson, but it was Tutu Atwell that scored most of their points.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Tutu Atwell had the track record from last year for teaming up with Nakua when Kupp was out last year. But, yeah, it's so hard to tell, like, who's going to break out. I mean, everybody looks at past performance, and then it just varies so much. And the real thing you got to do is look at the targets for receivers and the touches or snaps for running backs, and like, because it's easy to get sucked into point totals and be like, oh man, chase 46.5 points from Juwan Jennings, but yeah, you got to look at targets and then personnel and stuff. I don't know. It's impossible. If we were the best at it, then, we'd be talking to people in stadiums or something. Putting people to sleep in stadiums.
Yeah, you can't chase those points this week for waiver wire, so unless you know for sure that Kittle and Debo are going to be out for a while. But it seemed like they were just last minute, not starting this week. So I don't know. I wouldn't be putting tons of money on them. So do you want to talk about waivers?
Yeah, we can move on to some waivers.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
All right, Garrett, who's your top waiver claim this week? You said you're not chasing any of the fool's gold out there, but who do you think is real gold out there on the wire?
I
Charbonnet, ooh la la.
If you want to go quarterbacks, I guess if Sam Darnold isn't rostered in your league, which is kind of crazy in my opinion, but I was kind of on him and everybody wasn't. So I would say he's number one quarterback. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is probably rostered, but and Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. It looks like Andy Dalton's going to be that quarterback, maybe even rest of the season after the performance they had. Like, there's no way they can go back to Bryce Young until he gets hurt. So
yeah, for sure he'll be the starter, but they were playing the Raiders, so I don't know who the next game.
Yeah, he's third on my QB list for sure.
Yeah, they're playing Cincinnati next week. Not exactly like the toughest, but will be tougher. And then Chicago after that will be tough. So, yeah. But
what do you feel about running backs or anything more about quarterbacks?
Anything about quarterbacks? If Justin Fields is out there, go after him. He looks solid. Like, he's starting to move out of that game manager role up into like a legit like team leading quarterback. I don't know, Bo Nix, like maybe if you're really stretched.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix has that rushing upside. From this past week, it looks like they're just like, I'm tired of trying to make this guy throw. Let's just use his legs. Seems like he's going to be playing more in a college-style offense. I think Bo Nix is a good one. I kind of didn't even really think about him. But, yeah, Justin Fields, how do you feel about this? He only got 6 rushing yards this past week.
Yeah, Bo Nix, by the way, they're playing the Jets next week, so I might like hold off unless you have room to stash him. I wouldn't start him against the Jets. Justin Fields, I mean, if he's getting his points, whether it's rushing or passing, like, I think he needs to, like, be a better passer and, like, practice it in game, like, start doing it more in game action, you know. So and he's got George Pickens there, so, like, he has the talent, and Calvin Austin was pretty good this last game too. I mean, with that breakaway play, but and then, you know, he's got Freiermuth out there, so he's got weapons. So I would like to see him pass more. I don't mind the only having 6 rushing yards. We all know he can rush, but, like, if he can show that he can pass too, then, you know, that gives him the dual threat. So I don't mind it. I don't care. I mean, do you care about it?
No, but I'd like to see kind of both. He did have that rushing touchdown with the 6 yards, so it's like, sure, if he can get a touchdown, that's really all that matters. If they use him in goal line situations to try to rush in,
he does have a history
valuable.
of being like a total bonehead when he does decide to run it, and fumbling. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you want to see more for sure, but I don't mind the focus on passing at all. You think Russell Wilson is gonna, like, try to wiggle his way in there?
No, there's no way they can switch it up now. Like, they're 3-0. You don't just bench a 3-0 starter.
Yeah, unless Ciara comes in and starts to boycott or something and do something, protest the Steelers games. I'm not gonna come out here and perform Body or whatever. I can't name a Ciara hit. What's her big hit? Isn't she in the song with Missy Elliott, like Work It? I should know this. It's my job.
I don't know a song by Ciara, and the only reason I know she's a musical singer, you know, is because she's married to Russell Wilson.
Body part.
I'm not hip on hip hop.
She's got Like a Boy and Goodies. Not my goodies. My goodies. Yeah. Yeah, I know all of our listeners came here to hear me sing Ciara.
What about the running backs? What do you feel about
running backs?
Yeah.
What about them? Yeah, they were
Braylon Allen, man.
Oh,
Carson Steele.
Brian and I were talking. He was so, like, sad that he dropped Braylon Allen. But I still, Braylon Allen, just because he's behind Breece Hall, like, he still doesn't have standalone value. Like, he's an amazing stash. He's pretty much the same to me as, well, actually, like Bucky Irving. I would rather have Bucky Irving. If we're talking about, like, stash running backs or backup ones, like, I'm keeping Bucky Irving on my roster because he's actually poaching work from Rachaad White. But yeah, Braylon Allen, he's a bit of fool's gold to me. Like, he's not going to take over from Breece Hall. He's a great stash if Breece Hall gets injured, but he's not going to take over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the handcuff, I think. But yeah, I was going to say, Bucky Irving, is he starting to take over the job? It seems like he
might be. I mean, those are the best stashes, the guys that, like, are like, they're league winners if the starter goes down, and at the same time, they're starting to take away work from the starter. Like, kind of like we saw from Jaylen Warren last year. Jaylen Warren's not from Najee Harris, but he's not really doing that anymore. We thought maybe it was going to happen. Like, it could happen for Bucky Irving. I think he could take over from Rachaad White. I think Rachaad White had, like, a fumble or something, or just efficiency sucks. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, basically, when Rachaad White's on the field, they're throwing the ball, and he's not getting a ton of targets. And then when Bucky Irving's on the field, they're running the ball. He got 9 carries to Rachaad White's 6 carries. I mean, it's not a huge difference, but when Rachaad White's getting the bulk of the snaps and Irving's in, and they're designing the plays to give it to him. So, yes, I think it's going to start transitioning to more and more work. Maybe it's a 50-50 split, but you have a higher efficiency with Bucky Irving than Rachaad White.
Yeah, that's what I think too. What about other running backs, maybe some other stashes, or you talk about like or are you talking about waiver running backs that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, waivers essentially. I mean, there's really only 3 or 4 guys that are worth it this week. I mean,
Madison?
Yeah, Madison was all right again.
Yeah,
is it worth
not
it?
really, except other in like really deep leagues as a bench stash.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Cam Akers did all right. Joe Mixon will miss maybe another week. So I think Cam Akers is another guy that you could just throw like a couple bucks at. Hopefully nobody needs him or is paying attention. And then Emmanuel Wilson for the Packers. I mean, he's very efficient. Had 12 carries for 50 yards and a couple catches and a touchdown. So it's like, do you think about Josh Jacobs handcuffing Emmanuel Wilson, or even just on certain weeks where the Packers have Malik Willis and they're facing, a rushing defense that's terrible, like the past 2 weeks they have been, maybe you can start Emmanuel Wilson if you need running back help.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be okay.
What about Mr. Porn Hubbard?
No. That was a Raiders effect. I mean, yeah, having Andy Dalton does open everything up for that entire offense over Bryce Young, but shoot, I just checked. I think they're playing the Bengals again next week. Like, yeah, bench stash if you got a space for a running back. But I would put Bucky Irving. Man, actually, you know what? I would stash Hubbard, Porn Hubbard over. Dang, dude, I was gonna like download that sample last night too. I'll get it for next time. I was gonna, I would put Porn Hubbard on my bench over. I'll never not love saying Porn Hubbard. I would put him on my bench over Braylon Allen. I would put, but actually over. So bench stash running backs, Bucky Irving top, and then I put Ty Chandler. I'd have Ty Chandler there, and then Porn Hubbard, and then Braylon Allen.
Yeah, that's a deep running back waiver.
But the Porn Hubbard is startable, though. He is like startable given a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's the most startable, I think, because he has mostly a majority of that backfield. So, what about wide receivers?
I mean, Juwan Jennings, 12 targets, 46 points. Like, that's hard to ignore, even if we're not like chasing talking about chasing fool's gold. But you said Debo might not be out next game. Ayuk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't chase the points, but I mean, if you know he's gonna be.
But 12 targets, and they're facing the Patriots next week, Arizona after that. So, I think he's worth a spot on your bench.
Yeah, I would drop. I don't know. I would drop a couple guys for sure. I mean, if you have like, I don't know. I'm thinking about dropping Calvin Johnson. Or there's just a couple guys I would drop just to see if Juwan Jennings is gonna continue his dominance.
You got Megatron on your bench?
Week. Megatron?
Yeah, playing a decade ago. Calvin Johnson.
Oh, yeah, I said Megatron.
You said Calvin Johnson.
I would definitely drop Megatron because he's not getting you any points. But Calvin Ridley, sorry.
You might have to drop Plexico Burris too, but yeah, Calvin Johnson. You got Megatron on the break.
And Randy Moss. Oh shoot,
Yeah.
you should probably trade Randy Moss.
You shoot. I mean, it's time. These guys are great, but I think it's time. You're probably not winning any. You probably haven't made the playoffs for a while.
Say you have Jacoby Myers or somebody, I don't know, somebody just last spot on your bench. Definitely drop him for Juwan Jennings, especially if he might get another start like this next week. Good matchup next week.
Drop Jacoby Myers after he just put up 21 points. 21 points on 9 targets, but no, I think that's fool's gold too. He's playing Cleveland next week too. But there's a lot. I think the theme is though there is a lot of fool's gold out there. Like that's not going to repeat. This was just a really weird week where tons of players scored that have kind of no business doing that, or like not no business, but it definitely could be like the highest scoring week of their entire careers.
Quentin Johnston. There's another one.
Quentin Johnston, man. If Quentin Johnston's going off, like, something's up. Like, we're living in a different universe for sure. Yeah. I mean, Rome Odunze did well. I wouldn't expect Odunze to be good until, like, the end of the year. The Bears have a great slate of games for wide receivers the second half of the year. But, yeah, they played the Colts, so that was effective. The Swiss cheese. Colts.
Oh yeah. What? There's a couple guys that I do want to mention that are actually like consistently doing well these past couple weeks.
Jerry Jeudy.
We have somewhat of a sample size. It's Darnell Mooney and Alan Lazard, man. They're getting extreme amount of targets compared to their talent level. I think it's just the connection of Kirk Cousins with Mooney and Aaron Rodgers, of course, with Lazard being both Packers before. So it's like, are these guys are even flex worthy in some deeper leagues. So I feel like those are the two guys that I would target if you have to spend any money on, a sustained season long target of a player.
I agree. I've watched Mooney. I've watched some of the Falcons games, and Mooney's definitely really involved. I wouldn't say like he's looking amazing, but he is super involved, and he's about as involved as Drake London, so that's like promising to see for him.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins can sustain 2 wide receivers. I mean, he's known to do that every stop.
Yeah. He looks boneheaded sometimes. I hate watching him play, but he definitely can support receivers. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about? Anybody else? You want to talk about tight ends?
Just, I don't know. The whole, just the whole Carolina wide receivers, keep an eye on somebody to kind of break out if they continue with Andy Dalton. I mean, Xavier Legette,
the
Adam
best a man can get.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's going to break out to be the target leader once you get more of a sample size. So,
yeah. Yeah, Andy Dalton still can support legit fantasy options, receivers. So that's a good point. Dang, man, you're thinking ahead. That's why you're the GOAT. That's why you're the fantasy GOAT. And I'm
always be upgrading.
I'm thinking about the past. But it's my takeaways, like, whether it's receivers or anybody else, like, don't overreact to this week. Like, don't go out and blow your fab, spend like crazy.
No, don't spend more than $10 on any player this week.
Yeah, for sure. If there was a league winner out there that you got to spend everything on, we'd let you know about it for sure. This is the Wiz, okay? We don't mess around with this biz. All right, anything else? Should we move on to talking about tight ends? Because you know how I love tight ends, and I want to talk about them.
So hard.
Yep.
What a yawn.
All right, Sponge. Who's your favorite tight end out there?
Well, I picked him up last week, and people are probably hoping to get him this week. It's the Muth,
He Luth.
Pat Fryermuth. Yeah, I mean, and Cole Kmet, but I think that comes with the matchup this past week. I don't think you can really hit on Cole Kmet every week.
Nope. I don't have anything else to say, man.
Yeah, we can go on.
Indianapolis.
Maybe Conk.
Indianapolis.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so. I think like the entire league behaved like tight ends this week. Like nothing was predictable. You could never predict who's at the top, who's going to score the most. Just like guys you haven't heard of, and then the next week they'll be irrelevant again, which is like tight ends every week. But this week it seemed like it was the entire league that turned like into that. I don't know. So I just thought of that correlation there. My brain brought it up.
Yeah, that's a good correlation. I like it.
Thanks, dog. It came straight from the dome.
Let's just go to defense.
Well, wait.
Unless you got another tight end that we didn't mention.
I mean, Dallas Goedert, he's 91% rostered, so like, yeah, he's got the name value. So yeah, you can't pick him up, but he's not going to repeat his 27-point performance. Just like.
Are you kidding me? That's why I don't read the newspaper. Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. Where are we at in society today?
Oh, where were you at in defense society today? So I noticed in your matchup, both your defenses and you and Austin, you guys would have been better off leaving the spot blank.
Yeah, it was pitiful. I thought I even had a good matchup chosen, so I don't know what happened, honestly, but
I thought that could be a trap, you know. With Andy Dalton starting, they make a change of quarterback. I thought maybe it was a trap. I was looking at Vegas too, Las Vegas defense, but it was a trap.
It was, but hey, we just move on. But what?
Yeah, you move on.
What are some streaming defenses that you like this week?
Now hold on now. Before we talk about Week 4, I want to throw some good vibes out there. We're gonna throw some good vibes for Buffalo's defense. They're gonna torch tonight, and they're gonna win me the game. Come on, let's go. Yeah, they're gonna torch Trevor Lawrence. They're gonna get 25 points, and I'm gonna win.
I hope T-Law just.
Wait, am I sharing my audio? Can you hear those drops?
Yeah,
Oh,
I can
okay.
hear.
Yeah, I will.
I hope
Let's see.
T-Law loses. I want the Colts to
Get up in the standings.
go up in the standings.
So let's take a look here, because I'm really prepared. I'm a prepared kind of guy, and I don't.
I want to talk about defense, and maybe I'm just all on the Vikings, but this year. But
yeah, dude. No, they're
season long.
Only 52%
They don't have a
rostered.
great matchup. Yeah, they don't have a great matchup right now, but
Well,
Brian
Green Bay?
Flores.
They're playing what? Green Bay?
Yeah, Green Bay, but Green Bay's been doing well even with Malik Willis. So I don't think it's a great matchup, but this defense is made to win and go to the playoffs. I think season long, if you're trying to pick up a defense for season long, they've proven if they're not rostered in your leagues, like you got to snag them if you're just wanting a week-to-week defense.
Oh yeah, man. I'll be going after him, so I'm sure we'll be competing in Fab. 25 Fab, Minnesota.
They're top 10 in fantasy defenses right now, and I mean, yeah, they played the 49ers. I mean, they played a lot of good teams well, so
Yeah, they
And
just
the Texans
ripped the Texans offense.
Yeah.
They forced Davis Mills into the fourth quarter. Like that's not something you want to understate. No, I totally on board with that. Anybody else?
There's a couple streamers I like this week. I mean,
Tennessee
obviously,
defense at
if
Miami.
you don't want to, yeah, it's that matchup. It's Tennessee's against Miami or Miami's against Tennessee. Like
Both
you
of 'em,
you
yeah.
couldn't do wrong with either of them because Will Levis is sucking, and Miami's got Skylar Thompson. You know, they put up 7 points last week, I think, or this week 3. They didn't even put up 7. They put up 3, a field goal. So yeah, I think Tennessee's defense is who I would target if you're trying to stream because they're basically unrostered in all leagues almost.
Skylar Thompson. Now that's a Gen Z name right there.
Yeah.
Ivy thinks so too. Although Ivy's like
Say-
Gen Alpha. Tail end of Gen Alpha. We're gonna get to betas pretty soon. A couple years. Yeah. No, I totally agree. That game, both sides, streamable. Yeah. Who else?
I don't know.
How about okay, Chicago's defense. Shoot. Well, Chicago's defense is probably highly owned, but they are playing nope, that's the Rams. Well, yeah, they're playing the Rams. Okay. I was looking at the other Los Angeles, so Chicago's defense against the Rams. That's a good matchup.
It's high. It's a high.
It's okay. Hi. I was looking for who's playing the Chargers next week because Herbert went down with an injury. So if he's out, that's Juicy City, unless it's a crappy defense playing them.
Well, I
do
don't
our
know.
research
I mean,
here on
the
the
Chiefs
Wiz.
are pretty much owned a lot in a lot of leagues.
Oh, is that the Chiefs?
So with Spags
Yeah, it's the
being-
Chiefs. Oh man, that's a smash play though. Yeah, for sure. And Las
an
Vegas plays
underrated
Cleveland,
defense.
so
yeah.
if you have Cleveland's defense, it's like the stud defenses have great matchups. Dallas, they've been underperforming. They get the Giants though. So San Francisco gets New England. So yeah, it's looking like Pittsburgh gets Indianapolis. That's good, but Pittsburgh probably already rostered.
Yeah.
So
I think an under-rostered team that is sneaky play, you probably aren't going to agree with me, but what the performance they put up last week and how I feel like the Buccaneers will respond, it's the Bucs defense against the Eagles this week. If you literally want to spend nothing and be able to stream a defense, trying to save your fab for somebody upcoming, yeah, it's Jalen Hurts is actually, one of the worst turnover-prone quarterbacks in the league since last year. So going all the way back to last year. So it's kind of under the radar. Nobody really talks about it. The Eagles seem to be in a rough spot right now, even though they won against the Saints this past week. I don't know. I
don't know. I'm gonna have to disagree on you there. Disagree with you there.
Disagree. I know the Buccaneers just gave up
26 points to Bo
Nix
Nix and the Broncos, and I was actually looking at streaming them. So,
but they limited the Lions the week before and the Commanders week 1. So
you limited the
that's all I gotta
Commanders.
say.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, to 20 points.
We can make it a tall boy bet of the week.
Okay,
Tampa Bay,
the Buccaneers score 7 fantasy points against the Eagles.
Okay, I'll take that line. Under. It sounded like for a second it sounded like the Home Improvement grunt. Not that one, the other one. I don't have it. It was like, oh, or it sounded like I don't know, a little sample there. I'll crop it.
Yeah, because no, don't crop it.
I'll crop it. Ivy will crap it. And
She wants the plastic. She wants to do this.
Did you say she wants Vita Vea?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. She's all about
Vita
those
Vea.
beefy linemen.
Yep.
Broncos linemen. It's Broncos, right?
Yeah.
Or no,
Chris Jones.
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, yeah.
Vita Vea, yeah. That's a dope name, though. Vita Vea.
That's his short
Vita
name.
Vea.
It's not even his full name.
Vitalis? Don Vito. Don Vita Vea. Don Vito Vea.
Don Vita Vea. I think his full name is actually...
Woo! Tavita.
Isn't it?
Danny
Isn't
Tavita.
it like-
His name is Tavita Tuliakono, Tuipoloto. Dude, he's got 7 names. Look at his.
I knew it. It was like...
Tavita Tuliakono, Tuipoloto Mosesi Vahei Fehoko Faletahu Veya.
That should be the entry fee
That
to
will.
playing fantasy football. If you can say Vita Vea's full name, you can play fantasy football.
Yeah, so sorry, anybody with speech impediments. If you want to play fantasy, better find another pastime, another hobby.
It would reduce the amount of people that just draft and then do nothing the rest of the season.
You got to put in a little bit of effort. Oh,
Yeah.
Let's see if Mike Landers is listening to the podcast all the way through at the very end. A little cookie for him. Just want to shout out. Yeah, this last. On Friday he was like, "Man, I hate the FAB system. It's like you got to put in so much effort, and I just want fantasy to be like a passive hobby." And so we're like, and then Brian and I were like, he's like, what's the point of putting effort into it? Like, you don't do that and make it so complicated. And Brian and I were like, what's the point of putting an effort into anything in life? Let's just lay in the grass outside all day and just, who cares? And then but yeah, shout out to Mike for playing along with the FAB system, and even though you hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's if you like it, you'll just Google a couple things.
I think it's great. It's not that much more effort, and it's fun. I actually really got a lot of positive enjoyment out of getting Derek Carr over Jeff and Evan. That was fun for me. Had nothing to do with my fantasy team success. But yeah, waiver claim system is a little too simple. I mean, you remember when I was on the West Coast Waiver King, I'd stay up until 4:30 a.m. Eastern time and snag those extra dudes.
Yeah, it's fun getting. I did like that part of it where it's like, is it worth a waiver claim? And you're just waiting on those guys that clear, and you're just like, boop, immediate to your team.
Yeah, immediately go after. But the FAB system is way better for competitiveness and just, I don't know, overall better for fantasy. And yeah, well, cool. Let's wrap it up there. Pretty good pod. Anything else we want to talk about for this week? Good luck in your Monday matchups.
Always start 2 quarterbacks, no matter how crappy the quarterback might be.
Oh.
Yeah, I learned my lesson.
Always, yeah, quarterback's never predictable. Daniel just came downstairs and literally flashed me the moon. So, yeah, that's a good point to end it, I think.
A full moon.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep, it was a full one. All right, good luck in the rest of your week 3 matchups, Wiz Clan. Well, Wizards, what do we call our followers? Wizzies? Or Wizlets?
Yep, Wizlets.
Wizlets. Witches and wizards. Anyways, yep, don't be casting any spells, or do. Okay, read those ASMR waivers one more time. Give me something, ASMR. Anything.
Dolphins defense. Cole Komet. Xavier Leggett.
The best a man can get.
Darnell Mooney.
Yep, just like I got flashed.
Alan Lazard.
Oh, the Lizard King.
Chuba Born Hubbard.
Doom, 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 doom.